I'm about to spoil an early game side quest in Avowed, but if it gets you to play, it's worth it. Ready? Okay, how far would you go to help a guy punish God? Let me back up. This is one of the possible ends of the Dawntrider side quest in Obsidian's Gun Wizard RPG, Avowed. It's a fantastic quest for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is Matthew Mercer.
I am surprised to meet you here.
The quest is also well written, has lots of possible solutions, and teaches you about the game world. And that last part is what I want to talk about. Yes, this is a video about lore, which can mean a lot of things in video games. An expository slog, or a gentle subtext you can only grasp after hours of study at VaatiVidya University, but it's never felt as rewarding as it is in Avowed. And that's really helpful, since Avowed is actually the third game Obsidian has made in the world of Eora. And it's jam-packed with deities, nations, and fantasy peoples, all of which have a history with one another. I went into the game not knowing any of that, and it was the early game side quest Dawntrider that got me excited to learn more. So I'm going to use that quest, for real, spoiler warning, to show you how Avowed does lore right. You can stumble into Dawntrider in your first couple of hours of exploring. You're new to the Living Lands and just getting your bearings when you get this request. Find some guys on an expedition force who are looking for a MacGuffin. The quest sends you to an old temple called Pilgrim's Path and a godlike oracle who resides there. Wait, excuse me, did you say godlike? There's a lot you don't know this early in the game, but you do know about godlikes, because you are one. And you've got questions about that, and who better to answer than another godlike? This is convo lore. Lore you get just from having a conversation. Lots of games use convo lore, but lots of games do that in the form of info dumps. This is where people suddenly stop talking naturally and start talking like a living Wikipedia page.
Hello, welcome to Burgerland. What can I get for you?
Did you say burger? What is that?
It's a popular sandwich composed of one or more beef patties stacked between two buns and topped with an assortment of vegetables, sauces, and even cheese. The meal has been served for over a century, but its origins are unclear, with some historians attributing the name to the Hamburg America line of ocean liners, which brought German immigrants to New York City in the
Avowed sidesteps this problem by packing a glossary right into the conversation system. All you need to do is click on one of these glowing blue words to bring the conversation to a pause. You get access to a dialogue log and a list of words and lore. It's bite-sized, just a couple of sentences, but enough to help you understand what someone's talking about. It's totally optional, but even if you never use it, it frankly makes for much better dialogue. Obsidian doesn't have to rely on the main character amnesia trope, or make a bunch of characters explain to you what a hamburger is. Did you say hamburger? What is that?
You don't know what a hamburger is? Hey everybody! This MF doesn't know what a hamburger is!
Anyway, in Pilgrim's Path, you meet Caveman from the Expedition Force, and he's in a rough place.
I've never even touched a girl, it's not fair!
Heal him up, and you can talk to him for some convo lore, and learn a bit more about the Oracle living in the ruins. Apparently, he's building a big statue. Weird. And who's this Eothas? See, people who've played the Pillars games immediately perk up at Eothas. But I'm not a Pillars head, so I'm relying on what this game is telling me, and right now it's hinting at some pretty bad stuff. And if I'm curious, I can easily learn more by clicking on the name Eothas. The game pops open a helpful glossary, and you can take as long as you want getting caught up. And the person you are talking to is very polite about it. I can also read a book in the game. In these ruins you can find loads of books, and they're saved in your journal if you want to read them later. You can, easily, just ignore all the book lore. I honestly can't say I read that much of it. But when something piqued my interest, books proved very rewarding. For example, by reading this book of Eothasian verses, I gained some more conversation options with
Oracle Sargemis.
Hello, Matthew Mercer. This is the godlike that's chilling in the temple. Mercer voices this dude with such subtly psychotic flavor that his vibes alone are enough to make you suspicious, even without having paid much attention to the lore. But to summarize, this guy is a priest and mystical sort of stepson of Eothas, the very bad, no good god of light who recently did a holy war that killed thousands. Already a bad sign. Oh, and he's building a big, intimidating statue. Cool. What about the expedition force that was supposed to come through?
Age has made me slow. I sleep now more hours than I wake. They could have already come and gone, and I would be none the wiser.
I know this sounds like a pretty bad excuse, but he is 630 years old, give or take a decade. I'm only 30 or 40 years old, and I'm pretty dang sleepy already. Honestly, this conversation is great because you're probably suspicious of Sargamas, but also very curious. After all, he's voiced by Matthew Mercer, and he's the first godlike you've met. But he looks very different from you. Boom! Lore! Godlikes look different depending on which god they're like. And you, the player character, don't know who your god is. This will be a big deal for the mainline quest, but it gets some good foreshadowing through the lore in this side quest. Neat.
We are as like the gods as a finger is like a man.
You can also learn more about the Aeorian pantheon, other godlikes, and also, importantly, that the godlikes have been dying out, making the two of you extra special. Talk long enough with the guy about family and theology, and you almost start to like him. Enough that when he asks you to go get the MacGuffin that the expedition team was after so he can put it in his big statue, it sounds like a reasonable request. Here's the thing about this whole conversation. You can just skip it. Walk right by Sargamas to locate the expedition team and their MacGuffin. There's a lot of lore here that I enjoy, but the game is fine with you just skipping it. I'm not fine with it, to be clear. I think it's good. You should talk to Matthew Mercer before you go look for the expedition team and find their MacGuffin. And got it. Oh, look, more books too. Love to read. And instructions for using souls to animate inanimate objects like statues, for example. Oh, and a big pile of bodies. Oh no. You've got a lot of evidence here, and if you want to confront Sargamas with your gun instead of your mouth, that's an option at this point. Congratulations, you get his cool sword. But talking with him is way more interesting because of what you learn. Sargamas isn't creating a Gundam for his mad god to do another holy war with. He's made a prison for his sinful god as punishment for doing a holy war.
If Aethys is to atone.
But he also totally killed the expedition force, straight up sucked their souls out of their bodies. Not cool, bro. His plan is to trap their very angry mortal souls in the statue and then trap Aeotheus' soul in there with them as a sort of spiritual torture therapy.
I shall give them a new commission to prosecute the redemption of a god.
Yeah, man, my mom called. She says I gotta head out. So when Sargamas asks for your help putting the MacGuffin in the Gundam, it's reasonable to let your wizard gun do the talking. But, once again, helping him is way more interesting because its idea doesn't even work. He can't trap Aeotheus' soul in statue jail with the MacGuffin. He needs more souls. And for some reason, you can volunteer yours. I mean, you learned the lore after all, and this Aeotheus guy does seem like he deserves some retribution. And what's the worst that could happen? Well, you could die for one. Sargamas tells you this. Your companions will tell you this. The game's objective UI tells you this.
You are about to be part of something in.
The other option is to convince Sargamas that maybe his godlike soul might be the missing ingredient.
It must be me.
It's honestly not that hard to talk him into self-sucking his soul. Sorry. That doesn't work either. Well, at least you know what happened to the expedition force. But as you leave, that voice in your head, that one you've been wondering a lot more about now that you've learned all this godlike lore, well, it asks you for the statue. And you better believe I wasn't letting this statue go to waste. You pull the big switch one more time and it works. Sargamas' idea worked, just not with Aeotheus' soul, which is, once again, great foreshadowing for the whole voice in your head question. Even if you've avoided most lore up to this point, you still learn some really big ideas about yourself, ones that will motivate your character throughout the game, all the way to the end in fact, because depending on the choices you make, this side quest comes up again. And that's the other part of what makes this lore system so great. Choice, as in player choice, as in the thing that's always made Obsidian games so special. Even if Avowed is a more focused RPG for the studio, they still ensure that a player's choices would feel meaningful. Not just in quest results and character progression, but in how you choose to engage with the lore. You can pore over every tome you find, or focus on chatting up the locals, or drill down on every single glowing word. You even get to shape the Living Lands lore via these gorgeously drawn memory sequences. And all of this is done in-game, not in a YouTube lore explainer after the fact, and in a way that keeps me compelled to learn more. But if books aren't your thing, you can still focus on blasting wizard skeletons with a hollow point at 50 yards.